The holiday season is rolling in quickly, and with it came the snow. This was such perfect timing as I had planned to go for a hike and collect some greenery for our outdoor urns. We have 2 outdoor urns plus some decorative boxes, as well as a big pot by our front door that I like to decorate with greenery every year. Now, to me, it does not seem necessary to run to the store and get the $40 to $60 boughs of greens that have been pre-picked. That does not work well for me with my budget. So I like to go out to public lands and cut down some greenery. We're very respectful when we do this. We only take a couple of boughs per tree. And we typically will cycle through different public lands each year so that we're not taking too much from any land at any time. I had initially intended to come out on my own to do this, but when I mentioned that I was heading out on a hike and having it be the first snow, everybody else was really excited to come out with me as well, because that first snow is just the most magical and most fun thing for everybody to get out in. My kids adore the snow, so coming out to play in that first snow is just so lovely and so magical for them. And seeing as my husband is quite a bit taller than I am, having the help reach those taller branches is also quite needed and quite welcome. And there was no better place to get us all into the Christmas spirit than heading out into the forest during that first snow. It certainly helped, and listening to Christmas music on the way there and the way back, we were all fully in the Christmas spirit by the time we returned. To me, being able to go out into the forest to collect our own boughs for our own decor and doing it ourselves with a lot of handmade decorations, it just feels so much more special to me, more important than going out and quickly buying some pre-made decoration or a pre-made urn box or whatever it is. Not only are they incredibly expensive, but I just like to be able to put my own handmade touch on it, knowing that I'm the one that went out and retrieved these boughs and put this arrangement together. It's not going to be as pretty as what maybe a florist would do, as I've never really taken the time to educate myself on how to arrange things like a florist, but I think it's still just perfect, and it's also free, which is even better. I have a very hard time spending money on things that are typically just going to get thrown away anyways. Now, when I did a short on this, I had a firefighter actually make a comment, and it's a very wise comment, about having the natural decor in your house for more than a week. It does get incredibly dry, and they see some house fires, not necessarily caused by this, but it's extra tinder, that's for sure. I know that with a live tree, which we normally get, you always have to keep it hydrated. Otherwise, it also becomes a fire risk. So just beware of that, of having natural boughs inside of your house for any length of time, say over a week or two. It could be a potential danger. But outside, they are perfectly fine. Now, I will more than likely get some baubles in these boxes. I struggle to decorate them properly for Christmas, but I do want them filled. As for my urns, I actually have some large birch bark sticks and branches that I typically put in here. Last year, I was in the hospital throughout the beginning of December and recovering afterwards, so I completely missed decorating, and I actually think my husband burnt these birch bark branches that I had, so I currently don't have them for my urns anymore, so I will be on the lookout for those. But right now I think I have some dogwood in my backyard, and those are pretty red, so I'm going to collect some of those and get them in my urns as well. As for the indoor decorating, I also love to do a lot of decor that is homemade, and I adore doing fresh oranges and lemons and apples and doing decorations with those as well. In the past, I've done a lot of garland using some dehydrated oranges. And today I'm going to be doing something a little different. So I am slicing up my lemon and apple and orange slices. Now the orange slices are going to be the ones that I'm using today. The lemons and the apples are actually going in simmer pot gifts for friends and family. If you're looking to see how I do that, that was on my previous Handmade Christmas video. So I will link that in the description for you so you can head on over there and see all the Handmade Christmas gifts I do as well. But today I am dehydrating these oranges so I can make a Christmas wreath. Now, if you do not have a dehydrator, you can absolutely pat those orange slices dry. Get them in an oven at the lowest degree possible. Sometimes that's about 200 degrees Celsius. You're going to leave them in there for 3 hours, flipping them halfway through, and they should be completely dry for you. Now, this part I am cutting out a wreath mold. Now, I've seen people glue the orange slices together without any sort of backing. So this I don't think is 100% necessary, but it is something that I felt more comfortable using. And I've also seen people use the wire wreath molds that you can get at the store. So at any craft store, but I've seen smaller ones at the dollar store as well. Again, I didn't feel like running out to any store to be buying any sort of backing for a wreath, so I just decided to cut mine out of cardboard. There are so many amazing handmade decorations that you can do, and it adds an extra activity to do with the kids as well, which I find really fun. My daughter gets into all of the crafts and Christmas decorations and that sort of thing with me a lot, and my son will also jump in there to do certain things as well. In the past, we have filled our ceiling with paper snowflakes so that the whole ceiling has paper snowflakes coming down from them. I was hoping to do that again this year, but I have yet to find my paper snowflakes. They also disappeared from last year, so I'm sure they're down in the basement somewhere, and if not, then I'm just going to have to make a lot more paper snowflakes. I've also done the paper bag snowflakes, which are so beautiful, and I will add them to a video in the future, I think, so I can show you guys how I did those because they are just so beautiful and they're really cheap to do. So I do love doing all the handmade decorations. Not only are they just so much cheaper, I don't have to go to a crowded store because we also know what the stores are like during this time. I'm not having to order anything, and it gives me an activity to do with my family. And as for this wreath, it was really fun to do, and it is actually going to end up being a gift as well. So after you have all of your orange slices all dried, you are going to take your biggest orange slices and hot glue them to this wreath mold. I wanted mine overlapping, so I put some hot glue on the cardboard as well as some on the previous orange slice so that the orange glued to both of those areas just to make sure that this was nice and sturdy. And if you've ever crafted with children, you know that these tools sometimes get misused. Right before I was going to do this wreath, we had a marker lid shoved up this hot glue and hot glue all around this marker lid inside the hot glue gun. So we had to figure out how to clean this hot glue gun out, but we got it done and now it is usable for future crafts. Oranges are actually a symbol of Saint Nicholas, who would give gifts of gold to the poor. So they are a symbol of gold that Saint Nicholas would give to the poor. They are representing prosperity, abundance, and warmth. So this is why we find that we will oftentimes decorate with oranges during the winter months or during Christmas time, is because they originally were represented by St. Nicholas giving gold to the poor, which I thought was a really fun fact. And I don't know about you, let me know in the comments. I always used to receive an orange and an apple at the bottom of my stocking. And I know that that was more of an older time habit that my mom was trying to bring back. So I'm just curious, how many of you received oranges in your stockings? Now, if you have been following me for a while, you know that I am also doing a homemade Christmas gift series. Right now, I do have a couple of long form videos out as well as some shorts. I have an entire playlist showing all of my homemade gifts, and I will link that at the end of this video. So when you're all done watching this, make sure you go over there and check out all the homemade gifts that I have made so that I can give you some inspiration for this year. The round shape of the orange also has a representation of the sun around the winter solstice, which typically falls around December 20th to the 21st. And it represents the sun coming back and the end of the longer days. And I just found that information so soothing. And oranges are so bright and so sunny that decorating with them is just such a pleasure, and I love their brightness around the home as well. So I find a lot of the other wreaths that I've seen online, they kind of stop just at the oranges, but I have these star of anise that I think are absolutely beautiful, and I love the smell. So I just went ahead and glued some of them on the wreath as well. So at this point, you can glue a bow at the top. I just decided I had this green burlap ribbon, so I just used that to tie it up and I hung it on my door. And later on, this will be a gift for my mother because I know that she will really appreciate that. Moving on to some more homemade decor, I saw this woodland garland. And this lady made a mushroom top out of the half of a clementine. And unfortunately, I cannot remember where I saw this page. If I do find it, I'm going to link her in the description because she did a beautiful job of it. But she used the top of a clementine to make the top of a mushroom, and I thought that was just so cute. So we have all these clementines, and they're not going to waste. They will be eaten up very quickly. So I just cut them in half and peeled out those clementines into a bowl, and that way we can use the top and the bottom of the peels to make the mushrooms. Now you could leave these to dry before you painted them, and maybe that's the smarter idea. However, I was too impatient, so I just peeled them and got to painting them right away. And I honestly didn't find that it affected anything by doing this. So after you have cut and peeled out the clementines and you are just left with the peels, you can take them and start painting them a color of red. Now, I just have some paint that I use with my kids, and it's just an acrylic red that I use. But if you have a different color red or burgundy or any other color that you want to make your mushrooms, this would be perfect. But I do like the red because then I add the evergreen to the garland, and then you have your red and green contrast. So I just did one thicker coat on these, and you can see that my daughter's helping me with this project. Like I said, she loves to hop in and help with any sort of Christmas craft or Christmas decoration project. She finds that a lot of fun, and this is a perfect activity for kids to help out with. So you can just go ahead and paint all the outside. I did not bother painting the inside as I don't think that people are really going to see that. It's not going to be as visible. So I just paint the outside and let it dry. We let it sit for about an hour after they were all painted. At this point, I just want to thank my Patreon members for all of your support. And for anybody who doesn't know, I do have another creator page over on Patreon where I share a lot of exclusive content that I do not share anywhere else. So those are video tutorials, weekly blogs, as well as budget lists for you. So if that's something that interests you, make sure you head on over to my Patreon page. I will have it linked in the description box. And thank you again to all my Patreon members. You help me to keep creating and keep putting out content for all of you. And if you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much for sticking around. Your support is also very much appreciated. So after these caps dried, I just used the back of my paintbrush and dipped it in white paint to put on those quintessential white dots on our mushroom caps. So I did this on all of our mushroom caps. Again, if you want to do a different colored mushroom, that's totally fine. But these are the ones that I wanted to do. And this just gives like a woodland feel to our garland that I really, really like. So after these dots are done, again, I just let these sit for about a half an hour until those dots are all fully dried. Now, in the inspo video that I saw, she had used regular sticks to cut and glue into these as the stems of the mushrooms, but I thought it would be really fun and really cute to use cinnamon sticks. So normally these mushrooms have like white bottoms, and you could definitely mold bottoms. I've seen some videos of some people using toilet paper to do almost like a paper mache, I guess, to mold mushrooms as well for these garlands, which I thought was really neat. But yeah, I decided to use cinnamon sticks, and I just left them brown. I decided I did not want to paint these cinnamon sticks white. I thought the brown was perfectly fine, and this way it gets to waft that cinnamon smell throughout our house as well. So it's doing double duty. But I'm sure you could use the toilet paper trick to mold these mushroom stems as well. Again, I cannot remember where I saw that video. It was on a short. If I find the creator again, I will most definitely link her in the description box so you guys can see as well. But these mushrooms turned out so cute. I was so happy with them. Now you can see that right now I am gluing these all to the stems, and this was a mistake. So do not glue to the stems, because when you pick up this garland, all the mushrooms are going to be top heavy and they're all going to go upside down. So after I had got this garland all glued, I had to rip them all off again, and I glued to the actual Clementine cap, or the mushroom cap, instead. So that way the mushrooms would stand upright instead of flopping over upside down. But after I was done hot gluing, I just have this like burlap string that I used. And after I was done gluing to the mushrooms, I have some cedar trees out in my back that I just went and I clipped some cedar branches from, but you could use pine or fir or whatever else you have available to you. And I just glued little pieces to hang in between my mushrooms. I didn't want to do too much because it is early in the season. These are going to get more dry as the time goes on. As you remember earlier, I was talking about live boughs in the house. So I didn't want too many here. So I just do little twigs in between my mushrooms just so you get the feeling of woodland, and so you get the red and the green contrasting colors. This garland turned out really wonderfully. It is so cute and so woodsy that I really, really love it. I just hung it up above my window. I might end up moving it, but for now, this is where its home is going to be. If you are looking for more DIY Christmas inspiration, make sure you follow me for more, as I'll be sharing a lot more over the next couple of weeks. Thank you guys so much for being here with me today. I hope you're doing well, and I will see you all next time.